incredible winning streak continues as Nelly Korda captures the Chevron championship. Nancy Lopez, Annika Sorenstam, and now Nelly Korda. 5 wins, 5 straight starts.
What a run it has been. It began back at the end of January with the LPGA Drive-On Championship, a playoff win over Lydia Ko. She took 7 weeks off and then won 3 consecutive weeks on tour. The Serie Pack Championship, the Ford Championship, and then beat Leona Maguire in a championship match at the T-Mobile Match Play at Shadow Creek in Las Vegas, and then topped it all off after a 2-week break by winning her 2nd major championship at the Chevron. And she was asked yesterday where this fits in the dreams of a kid.
Is this a moment you dreamed of? I know we talk about little girls' big dreams out here. Is this a moment you dreamed of as a little girl?
For sure, yeah. I mean, my first ever major, competing in a major was at the U.S. Women's Open at Sebonik, and that was when I dreamt of winning major championships, and then to have 2 under my belt now is a dream come true.
You talked about your injury, being in your own way mentally. Mm-hmm. What would you tell little girls to build their mental fortitude?
Honestly, to never give up, to stay patient, to stay your course, and not to compare yourself to others, because everyone has a different path in their life, and to never let the adversities of life or anything take you down, to always rise.
Damon, it's been a long time since Nelly Korda could show up at any tournament under the radar. By the time she got to the Chevron, she was the only blip on the screen. She was going for 5 in a row. Very historic accomplishment. To me, it's less impressive the manner of the win than the circumstances in which she won with that level of scrutiny and attention on her. This has to go down as one of the most impressive streaks we've ever seen, men's or women's golf.
It really is, and I want to start with the injury. 2 years ago, she couldn't even play in this championship because of the blood clot, and she talked about kind of the road mentally that it took to get back to this type of golf, and this type of golf has carried her from California and Arizona, Nevada, Florida. I mean, this is someone who's won on different types of grasses, different time zones, different
weather
states,
conditions,
different weather, different formats, match play, stroke play. We saw what happened 3 years ago when she won 4 times and added an Olympic gold medal as well. And you kind of wondered, would she ever get back to that level? It looks as though she has surpassed that level.
She's in very rarefied air now, only with Nancy Lopez and Annika Sorenstam in terms of the 5 wins. She's going for 6 this week at Wilshire Golf Club in Los Angeles, which does actually is a golf course where she has history. She's got 2 top 10 finishes on that course in LPGA events. And you kind of think if it's a golf course and Nelly Korda's playing, I kind of like her chances these days, but particularly when there is some history there for her as well. And at this point, I don't know that the pressure could really build anymore. If you're going to match history for 5 in a row and it's at a major championship, that's got to be as much scrutiny as you can get under. In a way, it's easy to say that sitting here, but everything should feel like gravy from this point on, because it doesn't look as though it's bothering her.
Well, it doesn't, but you talk about how the spotlight has, shone brighter and brighter on her, but it sounds like from her comments that she's making things simpler and simpler. We know that golf is complicated for the 20 handicapper, but even sometimes for the best player in the world, and you can kind of make things more difficult. And she said that post-round when she was speaking to Tom Abbott that her key has been to make things simpler and simpler. And we've often talked about, how is she as the world #1, maybe not comfortable with the light shining bright in terms of the off-the-course stuff and being a spokesperson for this game. I loved her personality yesterday. Tom asked, are you going to jump into the water? And she said, heck to the yeah, showing a little bit of personality that I think that any viewer or golf fan would love to see.
And she is so dominant right now that the gap in the Rolex rankings between Nelly Korda's #1 and Lilia Vu's #2 is the same as the gap from Lilia Vu at #2 to number 186 in the rankings. So she's as dominant as it gets. It's also worth pointing out that in her 5 straight victories here, she's won $2.4 million. In his last 5 starts, Scottie Scheffler's won 4 of them. $16.2 million.
It's been a lot of fun.
There's an enormous gap there, but certainly not in the attention that both of those people are getting these days. Well,
someone who's watched a lot of Nelly Korda's run over the last couple of months is our own Grant Boone, who joins us on this Monday. Grant, always great to spend some time with you. Why do you think this run from Nelly is happening now?
I think that's a great question. I think if you want to look at the alchemy of how this all happened, you could say a little bit of good timing, a whole lot of hard work, and I think for Nelly, a career high in grit. I mean, go back to Florida, Bradenton, down bad. She had blown a 4-shot lead in 7 holes on that Sunday, 3 down with 2 to play. Lydia Ko had the champagne on ice, ready to go into the Hall of Fame. And, how did it end? Well, Nelly goes eagle, birdie, and gets into a playoff and then wins it. And as you noted, took 7 weeks off and came back. But you just think there's, in a way, this streak never should have even started. I mean, you don't go eagle birdie very often. But then again, what Nelly Korda is doing right now doesn't happen very often. And I did think it was a coincidence, maybe not, that on the week that Taylor Swift drops her new album, the LPGA just, after dipping its toes in the water, took a giant cannonball leap into its Nelly era.
Well, someone else who looks as though they're about to take a cannonball leap is that puppy over your left shoulder right now, Grant, who seems to be getting very excited by the talk.
That's Rosie, yeah.
Nice
Rosie,
to meet Rosie.
Nelly, I mean, yeah, it's a big week for the women.
There's been a lot of conversation, Grant, over whether Nelly's somewhat reluctant to take on the scrutiny that comes with being the world number one and a dominant world number one. She is very clearly the face of her sport right now. Do you feel as though she's getting more comfortable in that position?
Shy to superstar. I mean, that's kind of where we are right now. And she's admitted that she's had to step out of her comfort zone just a little bit. I mean, when you consider the prophecy, for Nelly with her dad, Peter, mom, Regina, big sister, Jess, brother, Seb, all elite athletes, it was there. It was predicted that she would have that greatness. But the success that she achieved, becoming number one in the world, as you noted, winning an Olympic medal, in a way became the albatross. And then she had the injuries and basically said, I hate it here. I don't want to be down. I want to get back out and play again. She talked about being grateful for being able to play again after not being able to compete because of injury, the blood clot. And then last year had to take some time off because of the back injury and came back and was not herself. I think she is understanding now on a different level that when you do things that only 2 other one-name wonders have done, Nancy and Annika, that there is more expected of you. Nancy naturally wanted the attention. She thrived a little bit like Arnold Palmer, I think, wanting the people interaction. Annika wasn't as comfortable. She wanted her space, but realized for the betterment of the sport, maybe I need to step out, play colonial as Annika did. And I think Nelly is understanding that as well. And I think it's a good question to ask. What's a reasonable expectation that the LPGA, that fans should have, that the media should have of Nelly, for someone who wants her privacy, but also is very much carrying the banner for the LPGA Tour?
Grant, how much more can she carry this forward? I mean, Mickey Wright won 13 times in a season. Annika's won 11 times. Mickey won 11 times also in '64, won those 13 in 1961. Are we on the verge of an historically great season, or is this just a hot run from a wonderfully dynamic player?
Well, I think you just have to say we've already seen things that we haven't seen. I mean, she not only tied the all-time record for most consecutive starts won from Nancy and Annika. We talk about that a lot. We haven't really talked a whole lot about the fact that she's also tied the LPGA record for most wins in consecutive events on the LPGA calendar. And she can break both of those records if she wins this week at Wilshire. As you noted, she has a couple of top 10 finishes there. And I would just say that the last time she was fully healthy, she won 4 LPGA events including a major championship, and not included in those 4 LPGA official wins was that gold medal in Tokyo. Then she began having the issues early in 2022. So a fully healthy Nelly, as Morgan Pressel noted very early in the season back in Bradenton, a fully healthy Nelly is a dangerous Nelly, and we're seeing that. You see 4 or 5 wins, 6 wins in a season, doesn't happen very often. We're now seeing, as you noted, that massive gap, doubling up, lapping the field in the Rolex rankings has only happened a couple of times. Yanni Sen, at the height of her greatness back a little over a decade ago, Lorena Ochoa did the same thing. But when you're talking about having twice as many points as second place, you're talking about stuff that just, it doesn't happen very often. And so I think it's fair to ask, could we be seeing something that we've never seen before? We're talking 7, 8, 9 wins in a season. That would be great. We're already seeing her do things that American players really haven't done. Most wins now, career wins by an American born since 1990, for example, 13 wins. By the way, she had 10 Hall of Fame points when the year started. That's good, but 27 is the minimum. She now has 16, and we're not even in May yet. So 27 is that number. I would just say I wouldn't put anything past her at this point. And if things go well, we could be looking at an historic fortnight come Sunday night at Wilshire.
Grant, there's so much chatter on social media about Nelly's performance yesterday and what a run she's on. The subtext of that was it took 6 hours for Nelly Korda to play that final round yesterday. Is it about time the LPGA Tour did something about the pace of play that seems to constantly hurt its product?
Are you singling them out as if to say the men's tour doesn't have a problem?
Well, the men's tour does. I think professional golf, period, has a problem. Yeah. But if you have an LPGA champion taking 6 hours to play the final round of a major and the fans are noticing, it would suggest it's a problem.
There's no doubt it was a problem. And she said it was the longest back nine of her life. I think it was the longest back nine of any of our lives. I mean, it took forever. It took 6 hours plus to play. You did have a situation at the 18th hole in which you had the grandstands behind the green. That caused a ton of rulings. You had to bring people out, the rules officials out. You had windy conditions. It was a much, different golf course on Sunday. You had those beautiful overhead looks at the club at Carlton Woods. And you could tell through the trees the wind was really whipping, and the golf course played a couple of strokes harder than it did in round 3. All of that being, and you were playing in threes. All of that being said, I think the LPGA has a better track record of handing out slow play penalties than maybe any other tour. And I think in this case, because of the circumstances with the grandstand behind the 18th and players almost wanting to hit it into that grandstand to give them a backstop a little bit, I think that added to it. I don't think anybody wanted to see. Yesterday was about Nelly, and yeah, it took too long. But I would say that the LPGA, again, probably better than any other tour I know of, is willing to hand out those penalties. And I don't know why they didn't yesterday, but I think we can all agree 6 hours is too long. On the other hand, it gave us a chance to kind of bask in all of Nelly's greatness.
And that greatness was on full display yesterday. Grant, we appreciate your perspective. A little extra kibble for Rosie. She was very well behaved. Thanks so much.
Rosie says hi.